with great honor and privilege that I get to speak to amazing people. And this man is an icon in the film industry, not just for the production of film, but his sensibility being in this seat. He's got a new film out. It's called Praise This. It's on Peacock, the same network with Bel Air and yes, all of that. It is
best
amazing.
Man.
Best man, yes, all of that. That's you too. That's you too. That's the voice. That's the voice of the one and only Will Packer is here.
Karen, what up? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so appreciative of you giving me this time and this platform. How you doing?
I am awesome. And it's not you're welcome, but it's what I'm supposed to do. When people are doing amazing things, it's my job to extract all of the goodness. And I sat through Praise This. At first, I was like, and then I was like, okay, well, Packer, it's got a little drum line, it's got a little this, a little that. You put in a reality star, brought Quavo in and through, and Chloe, who's hot on fire. The cast is amazing. Tristan Wiles, everybody in it. Drewski. Coco Brown's got the line. I rebuke the spirit of boredom, and I think I see the disciples in them pants. I was like, come on through, Coco Brown.
Coco Brown. All right, so Karen, can I just ask you though? All right, so now you're honest. You got a great show in the galaxy, so that's
hot. But I don't do great. Greatness is something else, but it's hot because that's
the hottest show in the. But you went out. I mean, that's Milky Way. That's this is Sister on Mars. Want to talk to you, but you greater than her, bigger than her, hotter than her. You said, all right, at first I was like, okay, so give me, what was the hesitation? Tell me at first, what was like, I don't want to see a church movie. I don't want, tell me what was the energy at the beginning going into the movie?
That it was going to be corny.
Mm-hmm.
A typical corny. There's a lot of corny. There's a lot of people dipping into this church space because most Black folk at least remember going to church, even if they're not doing
even
it.
If they ain't been in a while, even if they can't say one verse.
Not one verse, not that they ever could, but they remember having the grandmama with the peppermints in the pocketbook and all of that.
Let me tell you something about the grandmama peppermints. Them the best peppermints in the whole wide world. If you think it's something better, you ain't never been in a Black church. Whatever. Now I ain't saying like the grandma that's got them in the purse without the wrapper. Remember those that might have gone in and tasted a little bit and then put it back in their purse and then accidentally give you that one? That's a bad Sunday. If grandma give you the already pre-licked peppermint, that's not what you want. Okay, but that's that ain't what I want to focus on. I think that I was like you, that I didn't want to make the corny church movie. To just be real with you, because I didn't want to make the movie that was like, okay, and then the pastor says this, and then everybody joins the church at the end, and then everybody is saved. And it's nothing against my church folks and church friends, but this is not that movie. I'm just gonna tell you,
it's not. It's not. It's a lot of fun.
You are, and you ain't got to know one Bible verse. And our lead character in the movie, as you referred to, Chloe Bailey, she does not have a relationship with God, doesn't want one, has lost her way, does not have faith or spirituality. And I got characters on the praise team that twerk on Saturday and drink Hennessy and then go to church. And Drewski plays the dude that's on the praise team that might be selling a little weed on the side. Like, it's that kind of movie. So if you coming in thinking I'm going to skip that because I know what it is, no, you don't. And that was very intentional. And the point was that it was not about an institution or a person, a pastor. It wasn't about that, right? The pastor in the movie has neck tattoos. He got tats all up and down his arms, played amazingly by my guy, Mac Wiles. And so the whole point of it was that it's about your faith, your spirituality, and your connection thereof is not, there's no gatekeeper that's a human, that's an institution, that's a church. There's no building that gatekeeps that. It's up to you to take that. And a lot of us have lost our way and have lost our faith. And so it ain't about, let's get you in a particular, church congregation or denomination. That's not what the movie is about. So I just wanted to say that because I agree with you.
Praise This is the movie I think Will Packer came to do an interview. But we're gonna have a conversation today. Yes. Let the church say amen.
Within the interview,
he can't media trade, y'all.
No,
he's like, I'm gonna get these
points
in.
I'm with you, Karen Hunter. So I mean, you just gonna get what you're gonna get. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, but that's what you do when you on the hottest show in the galaxy.
Well, listen.
Where else you want to go?
All right, I
love your. I don't know that people can't see it, but your backdrop is banging. So I love all those books. I just do. It's just such a beautiful kaleidoscope of Blackness and amazing Black people that I see that I'm inspired by. So it's just, and it's perfect because it frames you perfectly. So I just give
Thank you. Well, with intention, books I published, right there. Book I just read that was
Mm,
amazing.
mm.
My inspiration that sits over my shoulder, Ida B. Wells, in Two Places.
That's awesome.
Kwame Alexander right over my head, The Doorway
Yeah,
of No Return. My
yes.
man Tyler Merritt, who is family now. Like Daniel Black, Black on Black. Like we should wear our intentions and we should wear our spirits. And I wanted to know about little Will Packer growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida, not
Mm.
just the grandma with the licked peppermints in the pocketbook, but what is your entree into this church world that made you want to do the praise this?
Well, I did grow up in the church. I grew up in AME church, and that is, that's the oldest denomination of Black churches in this country.
Richard Allen. Richard Allen.
Right, Richard Allen. And so I grew up in AME church, and I was very active, and I was the kid that, mama and dad said, all right, we do whatever you want to do during the week, but on Sunday we go to church, right? Thursday we go to Bible study, Sunday we go to church. I was the president of the YPD, all my AME folks out there. That's the Young People's Department. That's who I was. And it definitely helped me to connect with my faith. Because, I have been very blessed to have a lot of success in the movie industry, but it hasn't always been like that. I've gone through challenges. I've, been told no way more than I've been told yes. And it has been my faith that has sustained me. And that faith has transferred from when I grew up in the church to when I was in college and barely went to church to when I, had kids and took them to church, and to now where I go when I can, but I'm more about spirituality and connecting with a higher power and believing in the faith that I have, not only in God, but also myself. So as I have grown, so has my faith and my understanding and relationship with religion. So I wanted to make a movie for, folks like me, but also folks that did not have that experience. I wanted to make an entertaining film that had something to say about reconnecting with your spirituality.
Where are you now with the Lord? The Lord.
I love him and he loves me. And that is indisputable. I am somebody who believes that it is about your own personal connection, and I try to feed my personal connection. I pray every day, and I am actually an active prayer. I am somebody that, gratitude is a big, big thing for me. I am far too blessed and have overcome far too many things and have done too much in my life to think that it's all on me, to think that I am just so talented and that I just got everything that I need, that I don't need something else to sustain me in my darkest moments. And so that is where I'm at with my relationship, in that I count my blessings and I attribute my success to my connection with the higher power.
We're talking with the great Will Packer. Think Like a Man, Ride Along, Straight Outta Compton, Little, Beast, The Photograph, two of my favorites. Girls Trip, which is was the highest grossing live action comedy of 2017, starring African Americans, grossed over 100 million, went on to gross even more than that on a $19 million budget. You have hit the success button, brother. FAMU grad. FAMU grad, and I think you're an Alpha as well.
The Florida A&M University.
Yes.
The first, best, and some might say only. I didn't say that, but
my daddy was a Q, so don't do that. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that.
My Q brothers. Listen, here's the thing. If you can have a beginning, you can have an end. Now you know that, Karen. Now you start Alpha, you end with Omega. I'm just saying.
I see what you did.
You got to start somewhere now, sister.
Here's what I want to ask. You had an internship with Mr. Hudlin that led you on this road to filmmaking. What have you learned that, for those out there who think they have a story to tell about this business, about the business part, that people need to understand?
Number one, that it is a business, right? And people get that confused. You've heard the analogy of show business, not show art, but people don't realize how apropos that is when you're talking about creative people that say, I want to tell stories, I want to be a director, I want to be a writer, I want to be an actor. Nothing wrong with that. Amazing ambitions. It is a business that you're getting into that operates under an economic imperative, and you have to be very, very clear about that and adjust yourself accordingly if you want to succeed within the traditional Hollywood model. And so what I like to tell creative people is that if that's what you want to focus on and that's what you do, then find somebody who has a little bit more of a business mind. Find somebody that is a little bit more of an analytical thinker who can come in and help you with the business machinations that this business requires you to understand and succeed in. I sit where I sit and I'm able to tell a story that I chose to tell about, faith and praise teams and choirs and drop it on Easter not because of the amazing idea, because I'm Will Packer and I think this is the right story to tell. And I grew up at Bethlehem Mead Church. They don't care about none of that. I'm able to do it because I made a lot of money in Hollywood. And so Hollywood says, well, what else do you want to do? What else do you have? And so I, in a sense, am very Machiavellian about that. I feel like, hey, what are we trying to do and what's the best way to get there within the parameters of this industry? Nothing wrong with people that want to do it outside the industry, because you got more opportunities to do that now than you had when I was coming up. But for me, it is about understanding that this is a business first and foremost, and they're trying to figure out how to take resources and exploit them, how to expand. You take how to take $10 and turn to 100 turn to 1,000 turn to 1,000,000. That is what Hollywood is here to do. And they've only very recently started to really understand the power of the dollars in minority communities, disenfranchised communities that Hollywood for so long has not seen the value in putting front and center, not just in front of the camera, but also behind it.
First language, we check language here on the Karen Hunter Show. We're not minorities. We're the global majority. We're the global majority, which means that we have power, which means we drive most industries, not just here, but abroad. And once we recognize that nothing moves without us, I think things will begin to change as long as we're not chasing and begging, but we realize that there's strength in numbers and we stop fighting among ourselves. We're the global majority. We're not minorities. Nothing minor. Nothing minor.
Well, everything is context, right? So I agree. I like the language check, but everything is within context. And so I agree with you. First of all, let me start by saying that. And then let me also say that I don't see that when I refer to a minority community within the context of Hollywood, where we are a very small percentage of power makers. We are a very small percentage of power brokers and even people in front of and behind the camera. I don't see that as a negative. And so there is somewhat of a connotation of negativity when you talk about, oh, that is a smaller group. But to me, that has nothing to do with power, right? And this is not to say that the way that you framed it is wrong, but I just want to be clear that the way that I'm framing it may be different than the way you've heard other people frame it. So when I say it as somebody who is Black in Hollywood, and I say us as a minority group, doesn't mean we don't have what we need to do what we need to do within that system, but we do need to be aware when we walk in who's going to be sitting across from the table from us, how many of them they are, who they work with, who they like to work with, and the way that they evaluate us. Once you know that, because that is what you do when you're playing chess, right? We ain't trying to just jump over and queen me, right? We ain't playing that game. We're playing chess. And so we need to understand the language of the folks that we're up against, and we need to know how to utilize that to then embrace our power that you so correctly referenced that we have.
Should we be playing a Wari instead of chess? How about we play an African game where everybody eats?
Okay.
Yeah. Will Packer's that.
All right.
We're going to do that today.
Listen,
Will Packer's here. Praise this. Maybe it's time to play the game where everybody eats and everyone gets to win because we come with the goodness, because we are the world's grandparents. Is it time to change the game? I mean, you, Tyler Perry, Lena Waithe, Ava DuVernay, I probably can go on. I'm missing a lot of people, Gina Prince Bythewood and her husband, and I'm going to do it that way. Reggie now. Reggie. We have before that Reginald Hudlin, Warrington Hudlin as well. There now is enough capital and enough. I mean, how Tyler Perry has a whole studio. Black Panther was shot on his film studio. Fact. There's enough right now where can we change the game? Do you think is it time? Are we there now? Do we always have to come hat in hand saying please?
I would argue that we are changing it. As somebody that's on the front lines and in the trenches and working with so many of my amazing peers that you named, we're not where we need to be, certainly, in terms of power and equity in Hollywood specifically. But the game has definitely changed. It will never be the same. Where we are today is not where we were 10 years ago and not where we were 10 years before that. And it's because of some of those exact people that you named. We still got a long way to go. We still got a lot of work to do. Hollywood is an amazingly liberal, closed door, good old boy, paternalistic,
Keep going.
system.
Nepotistic.
I just said that. Absolutely.
Yeah, yep.
Nepotism driven. So absolutely 100%. It is all those things and more. However, where we are and the power that we have claimed. You talked about Tyler Perry. Tyler did not go to anybody in Hollywood and say, can I open this studio? Can I go and own my own projects? He didn't do that. He came and did it on his own terms. I have been able to do a lot of things on my own terms. I started off completely independent, and I now use the Hollywood system in order to employ large numbers. I'm very, very proud of my my family tree, if you will, because I consider them all family, of folks that have come through my system and work for me and then been able to go on and be successful in this game and outside of this game. And I'm proud of that. And I have been able to do that because I have intentionality behind what I am doing. And so do so many of those people that you named. So I think that the game is changing. That would be my answer. Is it time to change the game? We are changing the game. We need to continue to change the game, and we need to do more. But I'm always going to be the guy that says we need to do more. I'm always the guy that no matter where we are, I'm going to say, how can we do better? How can we do bigger? How can we do hotter, as the reference that you use, right? I'm always going to be that person.
I am so incredibly proud of you because I think you give us hope for the possibilities, and to see it in so many different ways and areas, and how many people get put down because you're quiet about that part, the way in which you set your sets, the way in which you make sure that people are represented behind the camera and at all phases. Talk about the responsibility of that, and where did that come from? Did that come from how you were raised? Because you made intentionally, you went to FAMU and graduated with the high. So you didn't just go, you didn't drop out, you stayed and got the highest honors. You studied, you worked, and then you didn't stop. So talk about that, the inspiration for making sure everybody's good in your world.
Yeah. And did it in not a, no degree is easy, but I did in a technical.
Oh, yeah, I forgot to say, yes, y'all. Wait a minute. Electrical engineering. Will Packer has a degree in electrical, not social, no sociology and basket weaving.
Nothing wrong with my sociology, folks, and my liberal arts folks. No, I did
electrical engineering.
Magna cum laude, boys and girls. Go ahead. Listen, I believe if you're gonna put your name on it, you're gonna give it 110%, and that's what I did, even though it wasn't like a passion that drove me to be in that particular field. But to answer your question, I think that because I took a very different route to Hollywood, I always viewed my role in Hollywood and what I do there differently. I always felt like storytelling is a privilege, and with that comes not just the ability to try to tell bigger, better, higher budget stories, but also to make sure that you're opening doors for other folks to tell stories. I've never felt like I am the only person who should be telling our stories, the best person that should be telling our stories, all the stories should run through me. I've never felt like that. I've always felt like two things. Number one, if I have people who do not think like me and who do not think like what Hollywood has traditionally pushed out there from a storytelling perspective, that I'm going to be better, right? I've got number one movies where I went against movies that were quote unquote bigger and had bigger budgets and bigger stars, all of that. But I won that weekend, right? I didn't have the number one movie in Detroit. I didn't have the number one movie in Southside Chicago. No, number one movie nationwide in the country. In order to do that, you have to understand the power of making sure you've got a diversity of people. And I mean that in the true sense, not just in the buzzword sense, around you. And so I have been very fortunate in that I bring people around me who Hollywood ignores, frankly, who do not have an opportunity in a traditional Hollywood system. That has absolutely made me better. And I say that to my white counterparts and peers. I say, you will be better. This is a competition. This is a race. You want to win, or you want to sit over there with your homeboys? You want to be in the same fraternity you've been with, or you want to win? If you want to win, then you better figure out how to get people around you who don't think like you, because now you're going to have a diversity of thought and perspectives and creatives, and you're going to beat somebody who looks more monolithic. And I've always felt like that. And so there is that drive that I have, which is I want to do it because I want to be the best and I want to win. Then there's the other side of it, which is altruistic and philanthropic, which is to say, this is my community. These are my people. I love them, right? I work in Hollywood, but I don't live in Hollywood. I'm very proud of the fact that, I happen to live in a city like Atlanta, and I do what I do from Atlanta, just like TP does. And so for me, it is about making sure that if I just win and I'm the only one that won, the community didn't win, and it doesn't matter. And my win is empty. If I bring a lot of folks with me, when I'm done, when everything is said and done, they ain't gonna say, he made $1 billion and he had 10 number ones. I want them to say, look at all the people he touched and impacted. Look at the legacy he leaves behind by all the folks who then went on to do amazing things because of the doors that he opened for them. That is something I take very, very seriously.